Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Stylebytife. So my returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back, and if you are new here, you're welcome. Kindly please hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to draft a 3-part corset pattern. So if that's something you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get started. So guys, I already have all the material we're going to be needing for this tutorial on the table. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these things aside, and these are the measurements we're going to be needing for this tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to rule a starting line, which is going to serve as the shoulder line. After getting the shoulder line, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do now is to start taking all the vertical measurements. Now from the shoulder line, I'm going to measure down to my bust point, which is 10 inches, to my under bust, which is 13.5 inches, and then to my waistline is 17 inches. So my shoulder to waist is 17 inches. After marking that, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process here on this other side. I'm going to measure down to my bust point, to my under bust, and to my waistline. Now I'm going to go ahead and rule a line across all these points. Now I'm going to take this part here as the center front. It's going to be the center front of my pattern. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to go in by 3 inches for the neck width, and then I'm going to mark 3 inches as well for the neck depth. After marking this, I'm going to go ahead and use my curve rule to connect these 2 points together just for us to get our round neckline. On the shoulder line again, I'm going to mark half of my shoulder measurements. My shoulder measurements is 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2 will give me 7.5 inches. So I made a mark, and from that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. Now I'm going to connect from this shoulder slope into the neckline. The next measurement we're going to get is our armhole depth, and how I normally do this is by dividing my bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it. So go ahead and divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it. So after dividing that, I add 7.6 inches for mine. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to come down by 7.6 inches. And that way to get your armhole depth is by taking the measurement you have on this shoulder here and then just replace it. Do you understand? Take the measurement you have on the shoulder and then you replace it. So that's going to be your armhole depth. Now I'm going to go ahead and rule a line across and then rule a line to meet the shoulder slope. So this line here is our chest line, the bust line, the under bust line, and then the waist line. Now I'm going to take the measurements I have in between here and get the midpoint. From the midpoint, I'm going to go in by 0.5 inch. On the chest line, I'm going to divide my round bust measurement divided by 4 and made a mark. So I'll connect from this point to meet the midpoint and then to the shoulder slope. We are doing this just for us to get our armhole curve. On the bust line, I'm going to mark half of my nipple to nipple measurements, and that's 7 inches divided by 2 will give me 3.5 inches. So I'm going to mark that on the bust line, on the under bust line, and on the waistline. After marking it, I'm going to use my ruler to connect the 3 points together just the way you see me doing. Coming to the shoulder here, I'm going to divide what I have here by 2, and from that midpoint, I'm going to connect it to meet the bust point. So from the bust line, I'm going to come down by 1 inches and made a point. Coming down to the waistline here, I'm going to mark 0.5 inches on the both sides for my dart intake. After marking it, I'm going to connect it to meet that 1 inches I have below the bust line on the both sides. Moving ahead, I'm going to take the distance I have in between the bust line and the under bust. So what I have here is 3.5 inches, and then I will use that to form a circle. So when you are forming your circle, make sure the tape is exactly on the bust point. So just go ahead and do the same thing you see me doing right now. This is what you should have after you're done doing that. Now I'm going to come to the under bust. From the dart leg, I'm going to mark 0.5 inches on the both side. From the dart leg, mark 0.5 inches on the both side. After marking it, I will use my straight ruler to connect from the under bust to meet the waistline on the both side. And then from the under bust, I will use my curve rule to make a curve to meet the 1 inches I have below the bust line. Now I'll take the measurements I have on the under bust, that's the dart intake, and what I have here is 1.5 inches. So I'll add 0.5 inches, making it 2 inches altogether. Take the measurements you have on the under bust and add 0.5 inches to it. So whatever you get, you're going to go ahead and divide it in a way that it's unequal. You will understand what I mean now. So I have 2 inches for mine, and I'm going to go ahead and divide this. So I'll give it 0.75 to the center front and the remaining 1.25 to the side front. So the 2 inches I got, I went ahead to divide that in a way that it's unequal. I'll give it 0.75 to the center front and the remaining 1.25 to the side front. Just go ahead and watch what I'm doing. Give is 0.75 to the center front and the remaining 1.25 to the side front. You can first go ahead and mark 0.75 towards the center front, and then you slant your tape and measure the remaining 2 inches towards the side front. I hope you guys really understand what I just did here. Now connect from this point I made to meet the bust point on the both sides. From the chest line, you're going to determine how deep you want your neckline to be. You can totally maintain the chest line or come down by some inches below the chest line. For me, I'm going to come down by 0.5 inches and go in by 0.5 inches as well. Just go ahead and do the same thing you see me doing right now. Now go ahead and connect from this point to meet the upper part, and then from this point to meet the under bust. This is what you should have after you're done connecting it. On the arm area, I'm going to divide what I have there by 2. So go ahead and take the measurements you have in between your arm area and get the midpoint. From the midpoint, I'm going to come down by 0.5 inches, that's half an inch, and then I'm going to connect it towards the side. After ruling the straight line, I'm going to connect from the upper part to meet this point, and from this point to meet the under bust. So if you are making a normal corset, this is how to go about the drafting of your 2 cups. But because we are dealing with how to draft a 3-part corset, I'm going to show you guys how to divide your cups into 3. So on the center front, from this point, I'm going to mark 2 inches. You can also mark 1.5 inches or 2.5 inches. Just go ahead and take whatever measurement you want to take on the side. So after marking that 2 inches, I'm going to add extra 0.5 inches to it. So I'm going to mark 2.5 inches on the midpoint on the both side. So I marked 2.5 inches on the both side. I'll come to the side on the side front here and mark the 2 inches I marked earlier towards the center front. Don't forget, I came down by 2 inches on the side going towards the center front. On the midpoint, I added extra 0.5 inches to that 2 inches and mark it on the midpoint on the both side. And on the side going towards the side front, I marked the same 2 inches I marked towards the center front. Now go ahead and connect it together just the way you see me doing. We are going to be joining these together later to form one piece. Moving ahead, I will go ahead and start adding all my body measurement. On the chest line, I'm going to divide my round bust measurement divided by 4. I will measure the dart intake and then replace it back. Coming down to the waistline, I'm going to divide my round waist measurement divided by 4. I'll measure the dart intake and then replace it back as well. After marking that, I'll go ahead and connect these 2 points together with my straight ruler. And then I'll be adding extra 1.5 inches as my sewing allowance all the way to the end. Now I'll go ahead and cut out my front pattern. So yeah, this is the front pattern. The front pattern is ready, and this is our yoke in case you might need it later. So I'll keep this aside and work on these upper 2 pieces I have here. I'm going to join this for us to have one piece of it. If you have a paper tape, go ahead and use it to hold these 2 pieces together. I'll bring a fresh pattern paper and place it exactly on the new pattern paper. We are doing this just for us to cut one piece of this. But because I don't have a paper tape, so I'm going to go ahead and use my pin to just hold it down. So when you're holding it down with your pin, make sure the 2 pieces meet each other like this. Make sure they touches each other, and then you go ahead and pin it down. Then you go ahead and cut it out. So this is going to be our cup 1, cup 2, cup 3, center front and the side front. And that's all for the front pattern. Now we are going to go ahead and draft out the back pattern. So guys, I've gone ahead to draft out my back pattern just like I did on the front pattern. Everything is exactly the same thing. The only difference between the front and the back pattern is the zipper allowance, which is about 1.5 inches wide. And for the neckline, I use a neck depth of 1.5 inches. And for the neck width, I use the same 3 inches I used on the front pattern. And this part here is our zipper allowance, which is about 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to mark half of my nipple to nipple measurements on the chest line, on the bust line, and on the waistline. After marking it, I'm going to go ahead and use my straight rule to connect the 3 points together. Now I'll come to this waistline and mark 0.5 inches on the both sides for my dart intake. On the chest line, I'm going to come down by 0.75 and then I'll connect it on the both sides just the way you see me doing. I'll go ahead now and start adding all my body measurements. I'm going to divide my round bust measurement divided by 4. I made a mark. I'll come to the waistline and divide my round waist measurement divided by 4. I'll measure the dart intake and then replace it back. After marking that, I'll go ahead and connect the 2 points together with my straight ruler. And then I'll add extra 1.5 inches as my sewing allowance all the way down. Next, you're going to bring your side front, place it exactly on the back pattern like this, and trace out the armhole. From the bust line, I will come down by 0.5 inches. You can totally maintain the bust line if you want to. After marking it, I will use my curve rule to connect from that 0.5 inches point into the armhole. Now I'll come to the zipper allowance area and take away some inches. We are doing this just for us to avoid any boldness whenever you are done fixing your zipper. So I went in by 0.5 inches and then I'll connect it just the way you see me doing. So we don't need this part here anymore. The next thing I will do now is to close up my dart intake. So I will cut through the waistline for me to be able to close up the dart intake. If you have a paper tape, go ahead and use it to hold this in one place. But because I don't have a paper tape, I'm going to be using my pin to just hold it down and then cut out my back pattern. So guys, this is all for this tutorial. When you are placing your pattern on your actual fabric, add half an inch stitching allowance all the way around your pattern except at the side, because we already added extra 1.5 inches as our sewing allowance to the side on both the front and the back pattern. And don't forget, we already added our zipper allowance too. I have a tutorial on how to sew a basic corset. I will link it down in the description box below, and if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.